MICA. So happy to see you all here today. I'm going to say first and foremost, this is a huge, amazing feeling for me personally and professionally to see Falvey Hall filled like this again. You know, we really weren't able to welcome this large amount of admitted students the last 2 years, and God bless, here we are, and it's so great to have all of you amazing admitted students here from all points of the world. So welcome, yes. All right, so we have a full agenda today. First I'll say I'm Matthew Smith. I'm the Associate Director of Undergraduate Admission, and I'm also an admission counselor and have been for almost 10 years now. And I work with great students from the West Coast. So I have some of my Texans, my Californians, all these great guys here today. But all of us, all your counselors are here today. So we're here to help, and we can't wait for you to really get to see and learn and know more about MICA. So I have a little presentation here today, and if you look at the agenda, we have a few speakers, and then of course a full agenda for you guys to participate in. Some of you may have seen this presentation so far or before, but you know what? Like sometimes we have our favorite TV show or our favorite movie that we watch over and over again, so let's rewatch this again if you've seen it already, all right? Now, here at MICA, we are really here to show you the fact that art makes so many things possible. You guys know this by being artists and applying to art college. It's used to communicate, it's used to connect, it's used to provide solutions to problems and be innovative in the way that we think and that we make. So when you're choosing an art college, art's not just the end product, it's everything you learn along the way. It includes your environment here at MICA on campus, your community as well, the facilities, the professors, the peers that really guide and inspire you. So we hope that you really get to see and experience that today on our beautiful campus. So at MICA, we celebrate the creative process. We welcome fresh perspectives. We nurture that competitive spirit and really value the pursuit of knowledge. And at MICA, you'll really witness the energy that our college has been setting for the standard for creators and innovators for quite some time. And what do we do here? Oh, we make art, for sure. Welcome to Baltimore. I'm sure some of you, this is your first time. Some of you, this may be your 100th time to Baltimore, but I know you're going to fall in love with it while you're here. Now, we're at the heart of the East Coast Arts Corridor. So the proximity to Baltimore to other major urban hubs offers not only cultural enrichment, but other professional opportunities. But we feel that Baltimore is the best starting point as an undergraduate. It's an affordable college town. The arts community is focused here on us in MICA, and you really get a lot of opportunities maybe not seen in these other places as a young professional. Some of our faculty come from these neighboring cities as well, so that also really helps with that overall connection of networks. But if you're wondering really what makes Baltimore such a thriving home for technology, art, and culture, we have this little short video that we made to really showcase it. So let's take a look. what I like about this video is you see it starts at MICA, just like your journey here when you're a student, but then you go out and you explore all the amazing great things that the city of Baltimore has to offer, and then as the video ends, you bring that energy and excitement back to campus. So we're affectionately known as Charm City. So Baltimore is home to 3 world-class art museums and 14 colleges and universities. So over 120,000 people of our overall population call Baltimore home as college students, whether they're in their undergrad, grad, or their doctoral studies. That's about 1 out of 5 students. From urban chic to small-town charm, when exploring Baltimore, you really discover something new about yourself. I love these statistics here. We could keep going well beyond the screen about all the great things, but look at that. Top 5 cities to attend a college and top 10 best major metropolitan areas to attend a college, and we'll help you learn more about that here today. So here we are on campus. MICA's campus is your home base, so it's a creative ecosystem. It's really designed to encourage cross-curricular collaboration and artistic exploration. So there's over 1 million square feet of space for living and learning. You'll see today when you explore our campus, it's urban but not commercial. It's historic. It's built on nearly 200 years of tradition, but it's also cutting edge and really provides a lot of industry standard equipment and facilities to really push those creative pursuits. But then there's also a lot of places where you can think and collaborate and perform and relax and recharge. Now you'll see today too when you're walking around that the campus is centrally located, so it's very easy to get around. We're sort of right in the middle, we're right in the nucleus of campus right now, but when you go all the way from one end to the other as you walk, it's about a casual 10 to 15 minute stroll. You're going to see beautiful historic architecture on campus, like our neoclassical marble main building right across the street. We have buildings that have been renovated through urban reuse. A lot of spaces here on the East Coast, we don't want to knock them down. We want to build upon that, like our historic station building, which you'll see today, which houses interdisciplinary sculpture and fiber. But then we also have new spaces that were designed specifically for MICA, like our beautiful collaborative Dolphin Design Center, the Brown Center that we're in here right now, and others. And our neighborhood in Baltimore is called Bolton Hill. It's one of the older historic districts of the city. It provides a wonderful community atmosphere for our campus to live in. It features lush gardens, brick-lined streets, and a lot of history. But we're also adjacent to our Station North Arts and Entertainment District, which is just right around the corner. Now, one thing you'll notice today is that MICA is known for creating residential life experiences with artists and designers in mind. College is about also moving away from home, discovering something about yourself and where you live. So much about experiencing college is about that community that you create around you. Freshmen start out here by living in our Founders Green complex, and you live on campus for a minimum of your 2 years, but we of course have that space for those lovely students who wish to live on campus for their entire time here at MICA. Our facilities are apartment style. They're not your typical dorms by any means. Apartments on campus generally occupy about 3 or 4 students who share a living room, kitchen, and bathroom space. But we have 4 residential facilities on campus. We have Founders Green, as well as our adjacent Leak Hall. We have the Gateway building, this is an interior shot here that we're seeing of one of those apartments in the Gateway, as well as the Meyerhoff House. So aside from living spaces, our residential halls also feature 2 black box theaters. We have late night grill and cafe. We have our main dining facility, which is one of the places that you'll be able to eat today, as well as full service laundry, student exhibition spaces, large studio spaces, and more. So we're really looking forward to getting to explore all those lovely residential facilities today as well. So living on campus is such an important aspect of your college journey. I can't stress that enough. It really helps you create a connected community of student artists and designers that are going to inspire you and also soon create lifelong friends and lifelong memories. But it's also about the food, okay? So we've got these amazing dining services on campus that we really want you to experience today as well. Meyerhoff Dining Hall is our largest dining facility featuring all-you-can-eat portions. We see that on the top left. We also have tons of options around. So we have Cafe Doris, which is right across from us in the Fox building. We have Glace Grill, which is in one of our residential facilities in Founders Green, Cafe Nancy, and more. We also want to talk about our amazing, amazing campus safety officers. They patrol the campus 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They're stationed at different desks you'll see today all around campus, there to greet, but also to be the eyes and ears of our community. And they really are what helps make MICA such an amazing and safe place as well. So MICA students are an amazing community. So they come from all over the US and all over the world. We're talking currently 45 states, 52 countries. So when you arrive at MICA, you're not gonna be one of the only best artists in your class. You're gonna be surrounded by amazing, ambitious, driven peers who will push you to be your best. And this is one of my favorite things. We were founded in 1826. So if we do that math, 3 years, we're gonna hit our 200th anniversary. MICA is the oldest independently, continuously degree-granting college of art and design in the United States. We're nationally and internationally recognized as a leader of design education. And this photo was taken from a drawing class in the 1901-1902 academic year. So if we think about that, so that was about 120 years ago, and the school almost already existed for about 80 years to really just show how you are making history here at MICA as well. Here at MICA, our students are intellectual. They're artistic risk takers who are really blurring the edges between art, science, design, engineering, and mathematics. And they're not content to only pursue one path. They really build upon a versatile set of skills in a wide variety of media and approaches. And they're really rewriting the definition of what it means to be a creator today in the 21st century. But in and out of class, art is central to the MICA experience. You find yourself surrounded by art. I want you guys to really experience and see all the amazing exhibitions that are happening here today. So you go from the classroom to the studio to your residence halls, and there's always a steady supply of art to be seen in every available space. And as I mentioned, just like you guys, artists are talented like you in many, many different disciplines, and MICA students really distinguish themselves in unique ways as well. We have class valedictorians, we have nationally recognized poets and writers and actors and varsity athletes and people from all walks of life who are here making MICA a better place. And we want you to really take advantage of all those extra things that you love to do through our Office of Student Engagement. MICA is really unique among art colleges in our commitment to campus life. And our student programming really rivals other top liberal arts colleges and state universities. There are so many varieties of programs and activities to keep students involved here on campus. And this is a really small sampling of the dozens and dozens and dozens of clubs that exist here on campus. But we also know you guys have interests, and maybe you're like, oh, I wish we had a club about this. Student engagement has you covered. You just have you and about 4 other friends who pitch that idea, and likely we'll get some funding to really get that club up off the ground. So MICA students are really well prepared to take advantage of art and design opportunities in our ever-growing creative economy. It keeps getting bigger. A MICA education really transforms thinkers into makers and opens your eyes to truly, truly see just how big the art industry is. And MICA's prestigious faculty members are passionate about teaching those young artists. We have small classes, so an average student-to-teacher ratio, about 10 to 1, that will really give you a lot of access to your professors who, of course, will then become your mentors. Every MICA faculty member is a working professional artist really connected to art and design communities as well. So your teachers are really going to push you outside of your comfort zone to inspire you to discover new directions in your work, which is always important. And we want you to start out by experimenting a little bit within your first year. So our foundation year is called the Innovative First Year Experience. This gives freshmen the opportunity to build upon their technical skills as well as conceptual thinking and in art making. So the curriculum really recognizes the similarities and the differences of how all you guys are. So there's a difference between the idea of being a fine artist and maybe a media artist. We want you to explore those differences. So you take classes in 2D, 3D, and 4D media, and then collaborate across those different disciplines. So the First Year Experience program provides a rigorous and integrated curriculum that reflects, as I mentioned, the diversity of how you guys think and make. It promotes in-depth thinking, artistic collaboration, and skill development to learn how to also creatively problem solve. It provides a community shared experience. So all of you guys are experiencing the same thing, which is how you grow as well. And it precedes your choice of major. So you officially declare your major in the spring semester of your freshman year. And with integrative education, MICA is also poised as a world leader as well. Select courses here at MICA combine art and STEM, and we know what STEM is: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. in an interdisciplinary and applied way. So art plus STEM equals STEAM, and as you move those letters around and collaborate, that equals teams, okay? So when artists collaborate with STEM, we spark connections, we take risks, and solve problems creatively. So this really sets you up for success in 21st century jobs that require not only creative confidence, but also skills in critical thinking. Now, MICA's programs of study give you that important structure of a major, but also that flexibility to customize and explore beyond your main course of study. So we look at our majors in fine arts. So these are programs in ceramics, drawing, fiber, general fine arts, interdisciplinary sculpture, painting, and printmaking. So these programs provide comprehensive training in traditional skills, processes, and techniques that allow you to develop your own unique voice as an artist, always that important unique voice. But our fine art departments allow for a synthesis between these programs, so we want you to explore a little bit. So you can combine drawing and painting, or interdisciplinary sculpture and ceramics, or really any combination that you can imagine. But you're gonna learn how to combine concepts in different ways. You're gonna learn how to research in different ways, and how to master technical skills in a wide variety of coursework and media. This is a lifelong discipline. As you're an artist, I'm an artist in my late 30s. I'm always wanting to grow and expand more and more, so that discipline sticks with you throughout your professional career. We also have 14 gallery spaces here on campus. So you also are there to really build your reputation by exhibiting and growing your professional network. A lot of opportunities to have both solo and participate in group shows. The city of Baltimore also provides so many exhibition opportunities not seen in other parts of the United States. So a lot of students who participate in exhibition opportunities while they're in their undergraduate study here at MICA are really ahead of the curve, because you have a lot more on that CV to really show that you've been out there, your work has been shown. And students take advantage of this, and it really leads to amazing professional opportunities. So this is Maria Fragoso. So she was a painting major with a focus in sustainability and social practice. And in her junior and senior years, she honed her professional skills as an exhibition artist. And from that, she was selected to participate in 4 notorious artist residencies. So an artist residency, I'm sure you know, is where they pay you to go and live amongst their community and make art. So Maria participated at the Palazzo Monti in Italy, at the Yale Norfolk School of Art, the Skowhegan School of Painting, and the Vermont Studio Center. So known for her dynamic and symbolic painting, Maria's work depicts the notion of exploring intimate relationships, the notions of identity, femininity, and masculinity, all while pulling strong influence from her Mexican heritage. So Maria now currently has gallery representation in New York. She's participated in countless shows throughout the world, and she was actually named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list for art and style in 2021. So we look at our majors in media arts. So these are the programs in animation, architectural design, game design, graphic design, illustration, interactive arts, photography, and product design. So these majors give students the creative, the technological, and the intellectual skills to become design and media visionaries. As a media artist, you learn how to communicate narratives and information, how to work with professional clients on real projects with real timelines and real budgets, all still while, of course, developing that, as I said, that personal, unique voice as a media artist and designer. As I mentioned, just in the fine arts, our media and design faculty are working professionals with active practices. As I mentioned, their experience informs their teaching. It opens doors for students to network professionally, to look towards internships, and a lot of other resources. And as I mentioned, a lot of design and media students have at least one internship, maybe during their time at MICA. This is an animation from one of our recent alums from the animation department, Christina Fiedler. So during the time between her junior and senior year, she participated in a paid internship out at Comedy Central in New York City, or I'm sorry, in California. And then upon experiencing that, she returned to MICA, where she created this lovely and really fun senior thesis project, which did very well on the festival circuit. And then she returned out to Comedy Central in California, where she's now living, working as a full-time animator. We also have 3 distinct academic majors in our liberal arts program. We have the history of art, design, and visual culture, which is also known as art history. We have ecosystem sustainability and justice. That's that MICA approach to STEM and STEAM. It's about using creative problem solving to look towards the global climate crisis, and MICA is really becoming a world leader in that as well. And then, of course, our humanistic studies integrated major. So art history students really gain a unique perspective both as an art historian and as a maker of art. And then students in the humanistic studies integrated major will achieve a more intense and rigorous academic focus as they pursue that studio major at the same time. I mentioned we are a college town, and we are proud of it. So we have the Baltimore Academic Exchange. This is something that many students take full advantage of. So out of those 14 colleges, 11 of us participate in this. This gives you an opportunity to take one class starting in sophomore year per semester at any of those neighboring institutions for no additional charge in tuition, okay? This is giving you the opportunity to really look towards the way that you want to research, the way you want to grow, and apply that to your professional and studio practice. So, you know, say you're like looking more to sort of STEM and STEAM approaches and you want to go further into scientific study, keep taking those classes at Johns Hopkins. That works towards your degree plan. Again, no additional tuition, and it's working here for you. We also got University of Baltimore around the college, our friends at Towson University, and more. And then we also have capstone master's programs. So there's various capstone master's programs where you can achieve a master's on top of your bachelor in just 1 year. That's separate from our friends in graduate studies. The most popular one, hands down, being the Bachelor of Fine Arts and the Master of Arts and Teaching. So BFA M.A.T. students will take education classes as undergrads to fulfill their academic requirements. They graduate here at MICA. They walk the stage with their Bachelor of Fine Arts. They get their diploma. And then they stay at MICA for just 1 additional year as a grad student in the Master of Arts and Teaching program. MICA art education graduates have a 100% passing rate on their praxis exams required for teacher certification and candidates, and a 100% placement rate for those who did seek teaching positions upon graduation. That's not just here in Baltimore and in Maryland. If you wish to return home to Texas or Washington or Colorado or what have you, you can do that as well. And from my good friend Katie Morris, who runs this program, there's a demand. They almost need more and more and more art teachers. So look into that Master of Arts and Teaching program. Now, at MICA, students will take academic classes alongside their studio classes. We really recognize the importance of educating the whole student to develop artists who have excellent skills both in art making and in critical thinking. MICA's liberal arts classes really appeal to creative thinkers. This is a very small sampling of all the great courses that we offer here at MICA. So you'll connect directly with the academic world and apply what you learn in the classroom to your studio research and that long-term career growth. So again, make your own path. It's your path to make. We're here to support that. Customize your major with various dozens of studio minors, humanities minors. You can choose from over 1,000 different studio courses every semester, over 200 academic classes just here on MICA's campus. Indulge in your interests and dare to make your own path. So first, you want to select that studio major to really focus on your creative passion. Then you want to add a studio minor. Many of the majors up above also work as minors. Then you also have these very specialized studio minors here below. We have humanities minors. That doesn't add additional credit, it just helps you focus your academic trajectory in creative writing or in literary studies or what have you. And then again, pushing that real-world experience. So important to get off campus and really develop your professional confidence. Baltimore Academic Exchange, looking towards those internships, the study abroad, and more. I got a few student examples really showing, well, how does that work? How does that work? Well, I can show you. So this is somebody, his name's Matt Robert. He graduated a few years ago. So he was a studio major in film and video. When he did a humanities minor in creative writing, wanted to tie it together. Oh, and he did that real-world experience, internship at the Shine Creative Studios, as well as an internship here locally at the Maryland Film Festival. While he was here, he focused his senior thesis on a documentary about his family history. He worked with film advisor Alan Moore, who was in the film and video department, who's the lead cinematographer to probably the most renowned documentarian, Ken Burns. Then he also added that MFA in filmmaking at MICA just to, again, throw that capstone on top. And Matt is now currently working as an independent documentary filmmaker. Actually follow Matt on Instagram. He just had his 3rd feature film doing the tour of the festival circuit, and he's doing quite well. This is Mary. So Mary was a studio major in ever-popular fiber department. They did a minor in experimental fashion, and they studied abroad. They went away for a semester to London to really experience life on the other side of the Atlantic. They did an internship with the legendary Betsy Johnson up in New York City, and also participated in our very popular extracurricular event, the annual Benefit Fashion Show, which is actually coming up here quite soon. And she's now working up in New York as an in-house designer for the Macy's Junior Fashion label. So again, you can see how these all sort of come together. I got one more. This is Heather. Okay, so she was a studio major in photography. Love it, love photography. She did a studio minor in curatorial studies, as well as an academic minor in culture and politics. So, okay, how's this gonna work out? Where's she gonna end up? Well, she did an internship, a paid 8-week internship with the Aperture Foundation in New York City. Now, this is a MICA-specific internship. She did a summer travel intensive. So we do summer travel intensives where you travel with some of your classmates in a faculty or two. They did that along the Appalachian Trail, where she studied nature and American identity. Okay, so we see these sort of puzzles coming together. Where's she working now? She's a full-time photographer now at the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. So again, you can see that by doing photo, curatorial studies, looking at culture and politics, that's the perfect place for her to end up at. Be in touch with us, your counselors, because we can show you so many of these pathways. Okay, art's local. It's right in your backyard. It's also global. So we really want you to connect with your community and halfway across the world. So Baltimore is really a hive of grassroots activity. It's really energized by MICA's commitment to investing in the health of our city and our neighborhoods. MICA students will really use their creativity to fight for social justice with a purpose-driven approach. And MICA administers the broadest range of study abroad and exchange opportunities of any art college in the United States. So we offer semester-long programs, and I mentioned those summer travel intensives, really reflecting our deep commitment to educating artists with that global perspective. We're a global campus. We want you to go global as well. And I can't stress enough, artists and designers are in demand. They're at the heart of our economy. Employers actively recruit MICA graduates for their creativity and their ability to think critically. So MICA prepares you to turn this ever-burning passion into a very lucrative profession. And our Joseph Meyerhoff Center for Career Development is a one-stop resource for MICA students preparing to enter the world of art and design. MICA fully supports entrepreneurial development. MICA is a hub, a network of professionals, go-to experts, and mentors, and an entrepreneurship evangelist on the career development team leads this program and helps students and young alumni turn their innovative ideas into successful businesses. But we also want to help fund it a little bit. We have our annual venture competition that we call Upstart. It awards the largest total amount of investment funding among our peer art colleges. So up to $100,000 in award money is divided to fund 5 student businesses. Okay? So again, you might not have a business idea now, but it might really come up a little bit here at school. We want to support that. Every spring, we have 8 teams of MICA-related entrepreneurs who pitch their business plans right where I'm standing to a live audience and panel of judges, including some of Baltimore's most successful business leaders. I have an example of a student who did this. This is Herschel Rubin. So Herschel graduated in the product design department, and he's now the CEO and founder of Compressant Company, where he was awarded $30,000. So Compressant Company designs products that help people manage sensory overload, helping them regulate stimulation with this chair. And these are for people who are on the autism spectrum. So this is something that Herschel is quite proud of, that he identifies with. So he used his creative problem solving and his critical thinking to develop this chair that is really doing wonders for our friends who are experiencing this. But in addition to entrepreneurship support, our career toolkit really recognizes that students use their own to really improve their professional development skills, and we want to be there to support that. We have a vast job listings database constantly being added to, so you can go directly there to look for those professional careers. An alumni network, we're all friends, we're all here to network and help. That alumni network reaches every corner of the globe. Career counseling, it's always available to you. You can walk in on orientation if you want to talk about career counseling, and you can keep doing it well as an alum. It's a resource that's there for you. Job fairs, on-campus recruitment. We're bringing those professional companies to the students. Literally every week, I see more and more things happening through career development. Art market, we're letting you sell your work to the community. And of course, pushing for internships. Again, it's about that real-world experience. Our internship database lists more than 800 different internship sites where our students can participate in. Here's a small sampling of some of the places that our students have interned recently to really, again, showcase all the places that you assume are hiring creatives, maybe the places that you didn't know were hiring creatives. To really help you see, again, creativity is so in demand. So there are so many weekly sessions for our students through the Office of Career Development to participate in. Again, internship fellowships, internship opportunities, interview training, resume building and development, weekly in-person employer events, artist residency programs, and more. Okay, I'm almost done, I promise. I'm just gonna show you a few alumni and maybe how they distinguish themselves in unique ways and how their journey here at MICA really led them to that wonderful success. So this is N.D. Stevenson. So they were an illustration major with a minor in creative writing, and they're the writer and illustrator of Nimona. Now, Nimona was actually N.D.'s senior thesis project, but they had a pretty big following online, so they were able to pitch that story to various publishers while they were still in school. Upon graduation, of course, Nimona was a big hit, sat atop the New York Times bestseller list for countless weeks, and was a finalist for the National Book Award in Young People's Literature. We see that lovely Netflix N right there. It's actually a screenplay now, and it's going to come out as a feature-length film this year in 2023. ND also works with DreamWorks as a showrunner on a lot of different shows. One of their more successful shows was She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, for which they won multiple Emmy and Eisner Awards. Here's Andrew. He goes by the artist name Gaia. So he was an interdisciplinary sculpture major, but he's currently working and residing here in beautiful Baltimore, Maryland. But he spends the majority of his time traveling around the world, painting his murals, which are currently on 6 out of the 7 continents. So you all know which one. He doesn't have one on yet, but maybe one day. I don't know. So he was also listed on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list in art and style. And what Gaia does is these murals aren't just random, okay? So he really pays attention to the community that he's painting them in, and that research and the symbolism is really pertinent to that space as well. I'll take you around the world. So bottom right, it's in Baltimore. Top right, Jersey. Top left, Norway. Bottom left, in Ukraine. This is Kirsten Lepore. So Kirsten was an animation major, and she's a leading freelance animator and art director. So she's worked with so many different studios, but she doesn't work for them. She works for herself, and they hire her, okay? So she's directed projects for Google, MTV, Facebook, Whole Foods, Nickelodeon. On the last season of Adventure Time, she was the director and animator for the stop motion episode, for which she won an Emmy for. And she recently was the animation director for the hit animated film Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, for which she was nominated for an Oscar. So she was there at the Oscars. She didn't win, but she was nominated. Her husband won. He did Everything Everywhere All at Once. He wrote and directed that, so it's all in the MICA name. I like it. But anyways, Kirsten was there doing great, and she's on to another amazing, amazing projects. Kang-hee Kim. So she's known famously as Tiny Cactus on Instagram. I guarantee you a few of you follow her here. So she was actually a painting major, but she's really known for her surreal and trend-setting photography. So during her study as a painter at MICA, she's started to experiment with a few photography classes to learn how to apply a soft and painterly approach to her surroundings. So she really found something special there, and she sort of went with that. So she's sustained and did a lot of solo and group shows around the world. She was a recent artist in residence with the brand Adidas. She was featured by brands and publications all over the world, such as Apple, New York Times, Samsung, American Express, and more. That's Kang-hee right there. And you can see her photos affixed to that window. That's actually a current exhibition that's in Brooklyn right now that spans 3 city blocks. So it's this really cool interactive experience that you can see this exhibition while walking down the street. Abby Jacobson, so she was general fine arts major with a minor in film and video. So Abby's, of course, known for her award-winning series Broad City on Comedy Central. She's also starred in the Oscar-nominated animated film Mitchells vs. Machines, and she's really led to a lot more voice acting, Disenchantment, BoJack Horseman, a lot of others. You hear her voice all the time. Her new series, A League of Their Own, is currently running on Amazon Prime, where Abby serves as an actress, writer, and executive producer. But Abby is also an artist at heart. She has various authored and illustrated picture books out. She also hosts a podcast in the Museum of Modern Art called A Piece of Work. I got one more. So Morel Doucette. He's a ceramicist, and he was a ceramics major. He's a contemporary Caribbean artist who hails from Haiti and came to MICA after his high school study in Miami. So upon graduation from MICA, he returned to Miami, where he's been producing loads of work. He's been one of the most successful and featured artists at Art Basel over the last 5 years, and he's been in many different solo shows again throughout the world. Along with his studio practice, Morel also worked as a museum educator at the Perez Art Museum in Miami. For my friends from Miami, you know where that is. If you're ever in South Florida, go. It's awesome. It's awesome. But he worked with young students to learn how to collaborate and critically problem solve. That sounds familiar, right? A lot of the things, the way he learned here at MICA, he was passing it along to the youth as well. I could go on and on and on and on. So let us, admissions, let us tell you about more of these alumni success stories. Connect with us today, and of course, afterward. Connect with us on social media, okay? The Instagram is so good. Maryland Institute College of Art, give it a follow. I'm sure a lot of you already do. That's great. But just stories upon stories every day. So when you're back home and you're weighing your college decisions, go on MICA's Instagram. See what's happening day in and day out, because that can be you. That will be you really soon. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, WeChat, Weibo. Those are from my international friends who are here today. But you guys are admitted students. Amazing, congrats. Some of the highest amount of applications that we've seen in the last 5-6 years, you guys are part of that amazing success of admitted students. So again, congratulations. What's next for you guys? Well, today, got a lot going on today. That Declaration of Intent, that's due May 1st, so we can always help you with that. We also are gonna have what we call DOI tables set up around campus today. So if after you're here today and you feel that MICA is your place, we're here to accept that Declaration of Intent. We're gonna waive that tuition deposit. So if that's the decision that you wanna do today, you can fill out that Declaration of Intent, officially become a part of the MICA community in the class, and we'll waive that fee as well. You also get a little gift, so those will be around. But again, upcoming competitive scholarship awarding. You guys are all waiting on that. I know, I appreciate your patience, but we've been working really, really hard to look towards those competitive scholarships, and they're coming out. They're actually gonna be coming out to you guys digitally, and then also a physical one in the mail early next week. So it's coming. And then once you get those, be in touch with us, okay? Let us know how you feel, see how things look, and if you want to talk to financial aid, hey, we're there. They're a sister office to us. We'll help you out, but exciting things coming really soon, so look to your inbox. The admitted student page, scan that QR code. It's there for all these different resources for you. Connect with us, your admission counselor. And then also in your folder, there's that QR code to join the student Discord, okay? So that's a great way for you guys can talk amongst yourselves on Discord. So there it is as well. So again, there's no end in sight to the things that you can make at MICA. If you can imagine it, you know, you can really make it, okay? So MICA is such a transformative place for young artists and creatives, and I can't wait for you guys to go out and really have such a fun day, learn more, see a lot more, experience the art. And if you see students around, ask them questions. They're here to share things with you as well, okay? So, with that being said, I need a sip of water, I'm a little parched, but we have two amazing guests coming up here in a minute, our Vice Provost, Tiffany Holmes, and our President, Sammy Hoi, as well. So if you just excuse me for a second, I'm gonna switch over to their presentation on my lovely MacBook here, and then we'll welcome them up as well. Thank you, guys. they're going to have to stream.
Yeah. So you'll be good with that. And so we're going to use okay, good. Absolutely. Great. Actually, I would. Oh, do we have to play? This is not right. Sorry. This is why we have a few extra moments. Here we go. Oh, no, that's not mine. This is yours? No, this is not mine. Mine is the educational one. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt, so much for your great presentation. It makes me want to go to MICA. And also thank you for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this very special newly admitted students open house day for our newly admitted students and families. Again, my formal name is Sammy Hoi. I'm the president of MICA, but everyone on campus calls me Sammy, as Matt did. So I just saw Perry, and Perry said, President Hoi. I said, please call me Sammy. So please call me Sammy when I see you later on as well. May I ask all the newly admitted students in this room to stand? Yes. As Matt said, you've been admitted to one of the top art schools in the country, and everyone's already joining me in applauding your amazing talent. Thank you. Great. Thank you. And I also want to give my personal applause to all the parents as well for supporting your children's dream to go to an art school. Thank you. Great. And while we welcome everyone, I also want to add a especially welcome for those who are traveling long distance to come to MICA. I really think that it's fantastic that you're here today. The best way to experience MICA is to be on campus, to feel the special sense of community, to see our beautiful studio facilities, and this afternoon you actually get to talk to faculty, students, staff, and experience a few classes as well. And that really is the best way, and I wish that you'll find today informative and inspiring, and certainly will be enjoyable. Aside from welcoming you, Matt has also asked me and our interim provost, Tiffany Holmes, to share with you MICA's education from our perspectives. And you're going to hear me reinforcing and unpacking a few key things that Matt talked about, and you're going to hear those things explained from Tiffany's perspective, because those are the things that really truly make MICA distinctive. And I will not repeat everything that Matt had shared in his great presentation, but I will actually highlight a few things. And when Tiffany joins me on stage and follows me later on, she's going to share more concretely the activities in the studios, in the classrooms, and beyond. This title slide shows you our beautiful main building, founded MICA was founded in 1826. As Matt mentioned, we are the oldest continuously degree-granting art school in the country. And if you do the math, this year's incoming class U will be our 197th class, so congratulations. While deep tradition is our foundation, anything that's relevant today has to be very present in today's time, but also looking forward as well. And MICA's strength is indeed about our way of building on tradition to achieve innovation and excellence. My personal favorite view is this. So we are now in that futuristic-looking Brown Center. Across the street is the historical main building. And the way, and physically, architecturally, this fluid linkage of past and present really illustrates how MICA education works for you. Here is a virtual chandelier. Let me make it work. Just a second. It should actually move. Oh, sorry. It's very cool. It doesn't quite move right now. Oh, here it is. Oops, sorry. It's essentially, it actually spins digitally in our historical atrium. So imagine a little bit. And the a future and the new not only can coexist, but they need actually to inform each other. And with that combination, over almost 2 centuries, MICA has evolved a great educational approach that guides our students' transformation from the day you enter the college to the day you graduate. And your growth will be based on a personal, artistic, intellectual, professional, and civic journey based on your MICA experience. And Matt has already gave you a few examples, and I'll give you more. But let me say this, our commitment is to give every single one of you the room and space, conditions, and program to empower your individual voice. You have to be driven by your own vision and your own voice. And we are here to enable you to do that so that you can become the thoughtful, innovative, and successful creative professional and citizen whose lives and work will contribute to make the world that we imagine. And I'll give you plenty of examples soon. And as Matt mentioned, our studio studies will be accompanied by one of the best liberal arts and art history program in any art school. And as Matt mentioned, we're a college town. You can take classes in academic exchange with a number of universities around, and a lot of our students actually take classes at Johns Hopkins, as Matt mentioned. This is something that Matt gave you multiple examples. I'm going to emphasize, and Tiffany is going to talk a little bit about that too, because this is something that truly makes MICA different from a lot of other art schools, and that is our curriculum. It's an open educational environment that encourages students for cross-pollination. You can customize your combination of majors, minors, and concentrations, and also work and travel experiences, and many do. And with this, we actually enable our graduates to go beyond the cultural realm. When most people hear about the term artist, they think of painters who exhibit in galleries and graphic designers who publishes beautiful magazines or books, and that's absolutely true. A lot of our alumni excel in that, and we're extremely proud of our alum who work in those venues. But we do more. At MICA, we prepare you to succeed as a new generation of artists and designers who can change the narrative and perception of art and design, and who are capable of success and contributions in multiple arenas in a world of unprecedented complexities and change. Many of you might have heard that Department of Labor and Census have actually done this study, and huge numbers of today's college entrants will be working in 15 years' time, jobs that do not exist today. So we cannot prepare you for jobs that just exist today. We have to prepare you for change and for innovation. So MICA graduates can succeed not only in the cultural realm, but also in business and economy, health and education, social justice and cohesion, science and technology, environment, et cetera, Most importantly, we want to prepare you to venture into areas and define areas we don't even know exist yet, but you will create that future for us. Now, let me share a few examples of MICA alum who embody such educational outcomes that I just described, both in traditional ways and in non-traditional ways. This is one of our proudest alum, Amy Sherrod. And Amy is a traditional painter, but she infuses painting with uncommon power. Everyone have seen the iconic Michelle Obama portrait that she did right before the pandemic, and it really changes how people perceive portraits, how people come to understand a iconic figure. And let me brag a little bit. Aside from Amy, at this moment, MICA alum painters are having a great moment in creating powerful portraits of extraordinary public leaders. On the left is Rob McCurdy, BFA Fine Arts graduate, and he's the artist behind President Barack Obama's official White House portrait that was just unveiled late last year and made a huge wave. And then to the right is Gerald Gibbs, who painted the stirring portrait of the late Maryland Congressman Elijah Cummings. And together with Amy Sherrill, they kind of corner the space right now for incredible portraits. And the next alum I would like to show is Javier Amejeras, an illustration BFA alum, and he took his illustration skills and went to Broadway. He is now an award-winning concept illustrator and scenic designer specializing in film, TV, and theater. He was one of the original product teams for the musical Hamilton. I assume that many of you have seen. And also, his work is now featured in the new Museum of Broadway. MICA graduates can lead and have led regional and national nonprofits. Because MICA's education is very purpose-driven, many of our alums discovered not only they have artistic skills, but they can take their creative thinking and their sense of cause and purpose and apply to making change for cities and for the world. So this is one of our most spectacular alums, Dina Hagag, shown here. She became president and CEO of United States Artists that give multiple grants, $50,000 a year to artists of all background and all disciplines. And also during the pandemics, she helped create the Artist Relief Fund that was now actually legendary. And Dina is now, after a very successful tenure at United States Artists, she's now with the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation, leading philanthropic work in the cultural realm. And we also often see our graduates succeeding in non-art sectors because they bring creative thinking and skills to the table. A great example is Kate McNally here, who used her animation and game design skills to lead projects that combine art, brain science, and health at Johns Hopkins. Because of actually this new possibilities for artists to work in non-art sectors, MICA is actively mixing art and science. Matt mentioned about STEAM and teams. It's very, very true. But we mix it in a way that's exciting for our students. Our students actually want to take classes in those directions. And by doing so, it also expands their career possibilities. A great example is MICA's biofabrication as a new means of making in our sculptural studies. And some of you might wonder, what is biofabrication? So basically, if you think about fabrication or making, most of us think about inanimate objects, paper, wood, clay, etc. But if you look at really truly making from a biological terms, you can see that things actually can be made. It's important to do so ethically, but they can be made with genetic codes and tissue growing, and this is biofabrication. In our bio lab, students learn how to design, assemble, and use new genetic constructs and modify bacterial cells. This seems a little far away from art school, right? But at MICA, actually, it's very much part of what you can study here. Here, a student created an illustration that tells a story in a living medium. These are not pigments. These are bioluminescent bacteria that's been actually arranged. And you might wonder, okay, that seems esoteric. I can do that at MICA in a classroom. What does it mean for me after I graduate? So let me give you a wonderful example. Danielle Kunko, a BFA major in graphic design who just graduated last May, she took the BioLab course in her own customized studies at MICA. She was graphic design, but she was also always in the illustration department, plus she took biofabrication classes. And soon after graduation, she landed a great job at Ginkgo Bioworks, one of the leading companies in biotechnology right now because of her unique combination of design skills and biofab skills. So as you can see by my examples, you can see that the role of artists and designers is obviously revolving very, very quickly. An increasing number of creatives are now acting as entrepreneurs and creating their businesses. And in response to this emerging reality, that's why MICA has created and implemented the Entrepreneurship program, and Matt mentioned about that program, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit more about that. This is an example. Winston Fraser is a BFA painting graduate who went on a MICA study trip during his studies at MICA to Africa. And there he met amputees who moved him and gave him a sense of desire that he wanted to contribute to make their lives better. when he came back to MICA, it was the year that we actually launched MICA Entrepreneurship Program. He thought, that's kind of interesting. I'm a painter. I don't think I maybe like business, but I'll try it anyway. And he participated in that program and got an epiphany about how he could actually bring his life social mission into the work. And then he partnered with a sculpture classmate and also his engineering cousin and launched his own business and went to compete in MICA's micropreneurship pitches and won in the second year. And then he founded his company called Dene. And basically, Dene is a startup business provide customizable 3D printed prosthetic covers that help amputees embrace their new normals by telling their stories. And it's a way to move stigma into personal pride. And Winston's company was recognized one of Baltimore's top 10 2018 startups and is still thriving strong. And actually just got included an exhibition at the Smithsonian. MICA is indeed a leader in art schools in our creative entrepreneurship program. Matt has already told you about our annual $100,000 pool of venture funds that we grant to 5 winning teams. Let me show you a little bit more about the outcome of this over years. The program is 7-year-old, so we have 7 years of history. While entrepreneurship might not be everyone, certainly not everyone in art school, it's actually attractive to more ardent students than you imagine. Over 7 years, virtually every single major at MICA has had participants, like 38 programs, and MICA only have about 40 programs. So, and then over 7 years, we've awarded over $700,000 in grant money. The amazing thing is that 75% of the winning ventures are still in business, and that's a really, really great record. I show you all this really to share that young people come to MICA having a really strong passion. You may not know what your future is. You want to go to an art school that actually provide that environment, that provide you intentional curriculum, but also plenty of space for you to accidentally discover yourself. And then you are the creator, not only the artwork, but your future. And MICA is one of those places you can do just that. So. Now, let me show you, again, emphasize something that Matt mentioned. I want to show you this picture of MICA and the world because MICA does offer global engagement to enrich our students' education. And I'll give you one example. I mentioned before Winston Fraser and his African study trip that really gave him, helped him discover something he didn't know and ended up actually now informing his life and work. And this is actually a wonderful story as well. For those of you who don't know, MICA is consistently a top Fulbright scholar-producing art school. And Fulbright is a public-funded program, very competitive, of graduates from colleges and universities based on a research project that they want to do abroad, and then they would be funded to go abroad. That's one of the Fulbright programs. Fulbright actually has multifaceted. So Rachel Fowler, a BFA fiber major, went to Cambodia on a Fulbright grant shortly after her MICA graduation to learn about fair trade. That was what she wanted to learn about. And based on her experience, today she is the co-creator of the sustainability-focused garment company Tonne, which is the logo right there. And Tonne employs 30 people in Phnom Penh in Cambodia who make beautiful zero-waste clothing while earning fair wages and benefits. This company is focused on what is called fashion justice and maintains a production ecosystem designed to enrich the planet rather than harm it. And all of Tonne's products are made from remnant textile waste from larger factories, so it's really recycling into active use and therefore diverting thousands of pounds of textiles from landfills and incinerators. And this is another example of how MICA's kind of global experiences can actually help make the world a better place and also help our graduates find their sense of mission. And global impact starts at home. So as Matt mentioned, MICA uses Baltimore as an extended classroom regularly. And our faculty and students work constantly in museums and social spaces and side by side with community leaders, curators, and other contemporary artists and designers. And this is something that you will learn this afternoon, so I'm going to emphasize more. And again, I would just emphasize MICA's career, state-of-the-art career center that you also hear more about. I'll just mention that at MICA, we really pay equal attention to creativity and marketability for our graduates. To close, I would just emphasize about MICA aim to educate creative talents so that you are free to be who you want to be. And right after graduation, there's work, there's graduate studies, there's Fulbright projects that you heard about before. And as I showed at the beginning of my presentation, our educational goal is to empower you as a new generation of artists and designers who are capable of seamlessly integrating traditions, innovation, entrepreneurship, your art and design, and a sense of creative citizenship to make the world we imagine for a better future for all of us, and also while maintaining a successful and sustainable professional practice for yourselves. So I'm going to stop here and now invite Tiffany Holmes, our interim provost, to come up to share MICA's education from her perspectives. Thank you so much. I'll see you later.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Thanks to Sammy, and it's nice to see all the students and parents here. Welcome to Baltimore and to MICA on this rainy spring day. As Sammy said, my name's Tiffany Holmes. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the interim vice president for academic affairs and provost. You might be wondering to yourself, what does a provost do exactly? And I'm the person who oversees the academic programs and works with the wonderful faculty and staff to manage and develop the programs, including all the studios, the shops, and the services, like our library and the Writing Center, that it will support the educational experience of our students. In his remarks, Sammy told you about some of the larger ideas and distinctive approaches that are part of MICA's history and will inform our development going forward. So in my presentation, what I'm going to try to do is draw down to the studio and the classroom. I want to talk about the MICA academic experience and the principles behind what we are doing and what you can expect to find if you choose to join us at MICA. Now, all of you have worked very hard in high school. You've demonstrated your talent, your passion, your academic and your artistic abilities, and you've made it through a very selective and long process to be in this room, and I really want to take a moment again to congratulate you and your parents on being here today and your success in gaining admission to MICA. So congratulations. We believe you are ready to take on this kind of rigorous, creative, challenging educational experience, and that you will succeed and thrive here. And now it's really up to you to decide. We, of course, hope you will choose to join us at MICA, not because we've seen your talent and your passion, but we believe that education, this kind of education that art and design schools provide, is some of the best preparation for life and work in a culturally and technologically complex world. And I know you know this, but more than ever, the world needs talented, thoughtful, socially and politically aware, and technically savvy, commercially savvy people who are prepared to creatively engage the large and complex challenges of our time. We at MICA, it's part of our mission to talk about making the world we imagine. We want to do that with you. It's my time now to take you through a tour before the tour of some of the places and programs at MICA so that you can understand what we value and who we are, what we do, and why you might want to come join us next year in this work at MICA. A lot of us have talked about this building. It's the main building, and it captures many things about the history of our education. This is the interior, which was completed in November of 1908, after the original site of the Maryland Institute was devastated by a Great Fire in 1904. So it is in this sense where the modern period of the school begins, and this image speaks to an architecture and a practice of art making that extends back to ancient times. Sammy and I both work in this building, and almost every day I see students and faculty using the space to sketch, paint, photograph, and it's used daily, weekly, as a site for art making. And this is one of the most important things to understand about MICA. The learning here is comprehensive and deep, and it's about the longer history of techniques and materials that have been given human form and have literally made this world that we live in today. And there are many other sites for art making at MICA. I'm going to take you through just a few. This is the Foundry. Some of them are focused on processes and practices that are quite ancient, like the Ceramic Studio, where a focus on handwork is very, very important. Other spaces embrace newer technologies, like our 3D printing and Fab Lab, that are using technologies so advanced that their place within the curriculum is still at a point of experimentation. Sammy mentioned this as well. Our bio lab has a lot of student interest right now. We are exploring the ethical application of digital printing with biologic materials. This is a living 3D print of the MICA logo. And another really interesting site for making at MICA that connects the old and the new is Globe Press. If you look in the bag that you received upstairs from our wonderful admissions staff, you have some swag from Globe. Globe is located at 1515 Mount Royal, which is the building just up the street from the MICA store. About 7 years ago, one of the best-known analog printing shops in the US, Globe Press, was set to close, and MICA worked with the owner, Bob Cicero, to acquire the press to make it a working collection for students, so they could continue to learn these practices and work with the visual, powerful, historic language for all sorts of contemporary purposes. Some of them are quite civic-minded, and others are aimed at expanding the boundaries of what we mean by culture and politics. The point I'm trying to make here is that art school is full of people who are incredibly creative and pushing boundaries and engaging society in all sorts of ways, but it's also full of people who think and create and imagine through materials, through the art of making, which, if you come here next year, you will explore through our wonderful first-year experience program. You probably have heard of the maker movement in education and the importance that embodied, engaged, and collaborative learning has in the making process. And I want to say, art and design schools are the original maker spaces. It's sometimes really messy. This is a painting cleanup. This is a shot from our sculpture studios. And I'm sure you're familiar with this, as are your parents, but art and design is almost always messy at some point. And I'm sure you are excited to get in here and do this as your dedicated program of study. We really hope you can join us next year. Our first-year experience faculty are ready to welcome you and challenge you. For those of you who have specialized interests in combining art, design, and business, please consider applying for our first-year Fellows in Creative Entrepreneurship program. This is open to all of our admitted students. It's a unique live-learn program that puts you into a year-long class with expert faculty with a lower faculty-to-student ratio, and they will introduce you early on to ways of thinking and making that will allow you to meet some of these amazing alumni we've talked about today, and other artists who have started their own businesses after art school. Again, Sammy and M.A.T shared some examples when they highlighted our unique Upstart competition. So I can't give a presentation about the academic experience without mentioning our incredible faculty. All of our faculty are working artists and designers whose love of teaching have led them to a career at MICA. Our faculty care deeply about students. You'll meet some of them this afternoon. And they work hard to create memorable classroom experiences that are built on a foundation of mentorship, learning, and growth. So we really hope you can join us next year. Do you know what you want to study? Our students can choose a major from over 18 areas of study, and most combine 2 majors or a major with a minor. MICA students may major in a particular discipline like illustration, or they may choose a more interdisciplinary major like our Ecosystem, Sustainability, and Justice program, which allows our students to combine their interests in art, science, and justice issues. You've heard a little bit about this already, but many students choose our 5-year BFA, Master of Arts in Teaching dual degree that has a 100% job placement rate. Our MICA-trained art teachers are highly, highly sought after. MICA students have over 23 different minor program choices. We have some new liberal arts minors, such as the Global and Intercultural Exchange and our Creative Entrepreneurship minor. The customization options for students are quite endless. You've heard a lot about this today. This is truly MICA your way, and you design your pathway through our curriculum starting in your first year. We are currently designing other forms of study into our existing curriculum, such as opportunities for shorter form learning through micro-credentialing. We're creating a series of workshops to enable any of our students to get a badge in woodworking. With this, students will be able to work in any of our wood shops and potentially have the skill recognized externally at Baltimore makerspaces like OpenWorks. As we move further and further into the 21st century, the role of artists and designers as critical makers, thinkers, entrepreneurs, and leaders of cultural and social change continue to expand. As you heard from our president, many of our alums are finding work as artists and designers in non-art contexts, and they love it. They absolutely love it. We are hearing from employers that they value the MICA skills in problem solving, visual communication, and critical thinking especially. Aaliyah Payne is an alum who I met last year, who combined her interests in interdisciplinary sculpture and interactive arts and storytelling into this wonderful job at Smithsonian's Museum of Natural History. What in public policy circles is talked about as the STEM to STEAM movement consists in recognition that art is central to our ability to learn and to innovate. It's not just within the cultural disciplines, but it expands to within science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And this connecting of the academic and the artistic is something that MICA has always done and done well through its integrated liberal arts programs and curriculum. And now we're in an age where we see a need to expand this interdisciplinary sensibility and sensitivity to fields like engineering, computation, and biology that in the 20th century, educational institutions work so hard to keep apart. Fun anecdote, I am a media artist and I teach computer programming to students, and when I started teaching in 2000, my whole class was filled with male-identifying students, and within 3 years, my class had changed in gender constituency to half female identifying, half male identifying. Our world is changing very, very quickly. I am a huge believer in digital literacy for all students. So through our partnership with Johns Hopkins University, students have access to the courses and the library at Hopkins. You've heard about that. But we also have numerous partnerships across the two institutions. We share a film center. We have a partnership with the Hopkins Extreme Materials Institute that enables students to go and work alongside scientists there. We have a partnership with the Bloomberg School of Public Health and with the Carey School of Business, to mention just a few. And in closing, I do want to leave you with an image, as I said at the beginning of my remarks, of how the educational experience here at MICA is designed to work and what you can expect if you come here. It really starts with you, the student, and you'll be working with other students, MICA faculty, technical experts, and visiting luminaries. And then this will extend to a range of sites, opportunities, and partnerships within the city of Baltimore. And then through these experiences, to opportunities all over the United States and the world, across the broad, diverse, and newly emergent range of professional practices and careers where artists and designers and scholars are increasingly engaged. I know you've been sitting for a while and you've listened to a lot of us talk. It's so wonderful to have the chance to speak with you about what we're doing at MICA. And thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope you have a wonderful day. Our faculty, who I spoke with earlier this week, are very, very excited to host you in their departmental areas. Don't be shy about asking them questions. We hope you have a wonderful day visiting our programs and meeting our incredible faculty. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason Morgan. I am the Associate Vice President of Undergraduate Admissions. What that means is that I have the pleasure of working with some amazing people on my team, all of which are artists, all of which are, yes, okay. Sorry, there we go. Transition time here.
All right, thanks.
Yes. All of which are artists, all of which are MICA graduates. It's a very special thing, right? Because they can tell you about their experience. At this point, as Sammy and Tiffany have explained, you all see the accolades of MICA. You see how amazing as an educational institution this place is. You're going to get a world-class education in the arts as today. At this point, what it comes down to, right? All the schools you're looking at, top quality art education schools. What this comes down to at this point is the feel, right? This comes down to where do I feel is the right place for me. So what I ask for you all to gather out of today is ask questions, walk around campus, roam a bit, go into spaces, look inside of our dorms, look inside of our dining halls. I want you to get that feel so that you can feel what we feel when we get here, right? We know this is an amazing place. That's why we just needed to get you here so that you can see the same thing, all right? So now, the important part of the presentation, right? Our students. We empower our students to tell you about their experiences. You all come on up. They're kind of standing back here waiting for me to give them their cue. We have some amazing student artists here, and they're going to share their experiences with you. So we have a couple of ways of doing this, right? Normally what we would do is people would raise their hand, they'd stand up, and they'd ask the questions. Obviously, with this number of people, that can be difficult. So inside of your bags, there's a QR code to submit questions, right? That is the way to submit questions for anyone who wants to ask a particular question. I have a sheet here in front of me, and I'm going to try to get through as many of them as we can. If your questions are not answered today, we will make sure that somebody follows up with you or ask a student on your tours. You've probably seen my team members in the green shirts that says admission staff on the back. Please take a moment and stop by, talk to them if you have any questions, all right? They can also answer your questions as well. So inside of your bags, there we go. Somebody did that for me. There's the ask questions. It'll populate on my sheet here, and then we will kind of get started. So that's your cue, okay? We're gonna start with some pre-submitted questions for my panelists here, and then we're gonna get to the questions submitted today. So you have some time to submit your questions. All right, now I'm going to introduce these amazing people to you all today. Today we have MATer. MATer is from Houston and is currently a senior at MICA. She is a stop motion animation major, currently completing her thesis project. Her work is focused on fabrication of miniature sets, props, costumes, and puppets. She's also a student RA, resident advisor, as well as a member of the Student Animators for Inclusion. So this is MATer. We like claps. Yes, we are clapping. Yeah. Any moment to celebrate our students, so we're going to constantly do that. We like to celebrate our people. We have Sophia. There is Sophia. Sophia is a Puerto Rican student based in Baltimore, a senior animation major with an illustration minor. Her main goal in her work is to tell stories that that people can relate to, from the feeling of leaving your country for other opportunities to showing the pride and appreciation of carrying a legacy of one's heritage. It's very, very important to champion her diversity and inclusion in her work. Yes, and Maker, I think you have something you want to say to the group? I'm sorry, Sophia. No. All right. And then we have Justin. Justin is up there as well. Justin is a junior printmaking major at MICA with a minor in sequential arts. Justin grew up in New Jersey, has been working between New York and Baltimore for the last 4 years. Justin has been closely involved with the printmaking department, working as a teaching assistant and a social media manager. Recently, he has self-published his first 2 issues of his original graphic novel series, Dust, very impressive, and continues to write and illustrate further installments. He also works as a public affairs specialist in the United States Coast Guard, creating photo, video, and social media content for the military out of Manhattan. Yes. Last but not least, Justin is also a wellness coordinator for the MICA Fitness, a librarian at the Decker Library, and an officer in 3 MICA Club organizations. Whew. That is a mouthful. All right, so as you see, we have a wide range of folks here today. So we want you all to again, QR code, ask your questions. I see them coming in here. We will go through as many of them as we can before we get you all out to your lunches and roaming the campus. So our first question, and we're just gonna go down the line so they can each have an opportunity to answer the question. Our first question is, why did you choose to come to MICA, and what is your favorite memory from your first year at MICA?
So I can go first. I was very, very lucky, and I was able to do a lot of college tours. I have family across the country, so I was able to stay with them. I went to New York, I went to Georgia and SCAD, and I came here to MICA. And I very distinctly remember going on this tour with a ton of people, high schoolers all across the country. I sat on this stage. I sat where you're sitting, and I listened to people talk on this stage about their experience here. I went to the dining halls, and I was really embarrassed when my adults asked all these super cool college students how they liked it here. But everybody was so generous and eager to tell me that they really, really loved it here. And when I was making my decision further down the line, I had got it between MICA and SCAD. And I remember thinking that it seemed so much more fun at MICA. SCAD was wonderful, but it was huge, and MICA just felt much more like a community where people were interested in you, who would remember you, and in fact, when I came back, some of the professors who'd been on my tour did recognize me. So I chose to come to MICA because of tours like this, and my favorite memory from my first year, I really remember, was my critiques during finals week. It was so stressful. I'd pulled so many all-nighters, and I had really second-guessed myself. Everybody was so amazing. They were making such incredible work, and I was really thinking, I don't know if I belong here. I don't know if I'm as good as everyone. But I showed up, I presented the stuff that I'd worked so hard on, and I got amazing feedback, and people loved it, and they saw something in me that I wasn't able to see in myself. But throughout my years at MICA, it's been a lot easier to see that I am making good work, and part of that is because the people here really believe in me.
All right.
So when I was touring for colleges, I don't have the luxury to go to every college because I'm in Puerto Rico myself, so I had to make a choice of what colleges I wanted to tour and where I wanted to see. And I wasn't really too familiar with MICA at first. My advisor kept being like, you should apply to more colleges, not just one, which I was like, okay, I will. And one of the things I did try was I went to MICA because MICA had such an interesting animation program, and especially in their experimental animation. And I was very curious because as someone who doesn't go to an art high school, I'm not too familiar with the art education as much as I am now. So when I came here, I realized how much emphasis the education of art was, and not just one thing that was just animation, but other things, especially with your with your major, you tend to try new things. So within my major, I ended up trying out like things like illustration that I might not have enjoyed, like 3D making. And I think with that, it really helped me understand who I wanted to be as a maker and a designer with here. And I think with the resources I have, I was very happy to.
Sorry, my apologies. This is Lori. Lori Charles is another one of our student panelists here today. Thank you, Lori. Yeah, Lori is a sophomore majoring in product design with a minor in photography. Lori uses she, her pronouns, is an interdisciplinary artist and designer. Originally from Haiti and raised in Miami, Florida, she takes pride in her identity and culture. Lori, I understand you'd like to say something directly to the group?
This works, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, well, you already know my name is Lori, and I'm glad to have this opportunity to speak to you guys.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. So clap it up for Lori. There we go. All right.
But yeah, just to quickly say, one of my favorite memories here was seeing the improvement I made. I think when you first arrive at MICA and you don't really understand like the curriculum or how intensely it is, you're just like, wow, why am I drawing so much? Why am I doing these things, right? I just want to do animation. But I do think that at the end of it, so my professor made us do a self-portrait in the beginning, and then at the beginning of the semester, and then we ended with a portrait. And you can really see the change and difference within your art style and how much like within the year, within a semester you change. And I think that was a very important thing to realize that that these are what I'm taking, what I'm doing is very important with my art style and where I'm going with.
Yeah, pretty much the same as Maker. I decided I wanted to go to MICA literally 2019's Admitted Students Day, so pretty much same, sitting exactly where you guys are, and getting to hear about all the cool stuff that all these different students get to do, but also seeing how relatable they were, because much like I am kind of like scared of talking in front of so many people right now, so were they. And I remember being like, wow, these guys are relatable, like they're human beings, this is awesome. And the more tours I took, the more I got to explore the campus, I really got to see this welcoming community that is so happy to have you around and happy to explore not just MICA, but also the surrounding area. Because one of the biggest deciding factors for me was I've always wanted to live in a city, and New York was originally my plan, but I realized that Baltimore just was sort of like a more open space for me to explore before I take on that bigger step, and realizing how great it is having such great access to public transportation. We have the light rail, buses, and it really just gets you to try out those new experiences of a new area that you live in. And I think that's probably where my favorite memories came from, was when I finally grabbed my friends, hopped on the light rail, and just got to see what else the city has to offer. The Inner Harbor, Fells Point, different parts of the city, different parts of the state. You can really get a wide variety of places to visit, and you'll never be uninspired because you'll constantly be surrounded by the most inspiring people and visuals that you'll ever see.
All right, and Lori, just to restate the question, it was, why did you choose to come to MICA, and what is your favorite memory from your first year?
I personally chose MICA because I like the art and design aspect of the school. I went to design high school, but I studied film, and my original major was film, but I didn't really want to go to a film school that only focuses on that. I still wanted to go to a school that had film and other fine art, but it also had design. And I feel like MICA is a perfect school for interdisciplinary artists. And yeah, that's why I chose it. I think it's a good community, but I do think community is what you make it. Once I became here, I became involved in Black Student Union and the Office of Culture and Identity. So, I find my own niche of people in the school. So I would say my favorite moments that I've had would be when I'm around people from the Black Student Union or the Office of Culture and Identity. We used to stay at Mosher, but we recently moved to another building that's near the Dolphin Building. And Dolphin Building is where my major is in product design. So yeah, that's what I would say for that. But yeah, once you come in here, you find your niche of people and you feel like, you have people that support you, you have your support system besides yourself, and you find ways to really, succeed. And also don't be afraid to communicate and speak to your professors, whatever's going on, because I also find myself sometimes being scared to talk. I mean, I'm not afraid to talk, but sometimes it's that anxiety. But whenever I do, it always just turns out well, and they're very understanding. So that's what I would say my favorite memories are.
All right. Okay. That transitions us to our next question, which is, how would you describe the MICA community? Yes, Sophia?
So one of the things I would say about the MICA community, it is loud, not in a bad way. I'm not saying we're loud annoyingly, but we are loud in the sense. We are loud in the sense of art, because we are artists, we are designers, we're innovators, and I think that when it comes to how loud we are, even if you're the shyest person, I think that your art does speak for yourself, especially when you walk an art walk, when you see the art market, you have so many opportunities to show who you are and what you can bring to this community and what can you bring outside of the community. There's many students around MICA who have won a competition outside of MICA, and you can see clearly how proud we are from them and how much we're excited for them to go after MICA to make their own mark in the world and see who they are in their artist path.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about the MICA community and what really drives it forward is just the knowledge that is shared between all students. You'll come here and you'll have a wide variety of classes that you'll be able to take. And the classes that you're taking are completely different from your friends. And that's the best case scenario because they will learn completely different things than you. You'll be taking, if you're taking printmaking, someone could be taking animation. And oftentimes, you guys will talk about it, you'll see how cool that sounds, and you'll be like, can you teach me how to animate? And they're like, yeah, dude, if you teach me how to print make. And it's just this awesome opportunity to just share your knowledge of different art techniques with hundreds of different students who are learning hundreds of different techniques. Like, printmaking in itself has a wide variety of different sub-techniques, and it goes with all other art mediums as well, that they just separate into this wide variety of different things you can do. And you'll talk to as many students as possible, and they can share that knowledge with you. And they're eager to, because at the same time, while they're being taught how to do these art techniques, they are happy to teach you as well, because they get to recite it in their head. So I'd say, honestly, what you don't learn from professors, you for sure learn from students, because they're eager to take the things that they have just learned and share it exactly with you. And you'll find that with anyone you meet at MICA, and I feel like that's the best part of the community, is just everyone's willing to share their experiences, share their knowledge, and just share their time with you.
What I would say is, wait, sorry. I'm sorry, it's the ADHD. Can you
take your time? You are
say
okay.
the question again?
All right. So the question is, how would you describe the MICA community?
Oh yes. Okay. So, like I said, I can't speak for everybody, as a whole, but I will say with the people I often just conversate with, or the close friends that I have, or even just people I just see around. I will say that for the most part, people are very friendly, and they're not afraid to be like, hey, how are you doing? And, just engage in conversation. And, I'm very big on mental health, so whenever, I see someone, they don't look well, I'm not afraid to go and ask if they're okay. And I see there's other people, especially my close friends who do the same for me. And I also, like, from my experience, I like how it's not competitive. Like when I'm in class, and it doesn't feel like people are competing to be like the favorite student or like the biggest of the biggest. Like everybody is different, and it's really nice. Honestly, I just get inspired when I see how people take this one prompt and they turn it into something else, and it also just shows like their individuality. But I don't look at it in a way to like feel like, oh, like I have to compete and get better than that person. And I mean, I can't speak for other people, but for the most part, that's the same energy that I get from them as well. It's like an opportunity for us to build on top of each other and just keep learning and growing together. And similar to what you were saying, it's great that where MICA is so interdisciplinary. So, I have a friend who's in graphic design, I have a friend who's in photography, one is just in GFA, but she does painting and sculpture. We all end up just talking about like what assignments we're doing, and we just start discussing, and I love engaging in conversations, so I end up learning from them. I learn these type of font faces, this type of typography, and she doesn't know really, they don't really know much about product design. I just start explaining what I did in class, or this specific class, what I have to do now, like what prototypes I'm making. And so yeah, we all just learn from each other, and then based off we all like, bounce ideas off of each other, and it just becomes a moment where we can grow. And we're also not afraid to speak our mind, but a little bit too much, because y'all be doing too much on the MICA app. But yeah, that's what I would say.
So I totally second everything everyone has said. I've really felt welcomed by the community here. I want to add on that I think MICA especially is very curious. Something that I've noticed that's a little different from other artistic communities or even other schools, it can feel often that people show you what they're doing and they want to impress you so much they forget to ask who you are and the things you're doing. And at MICA, my experience has been totally opposite. Everyone I meet, almost the first thing they say is, do you have an art Instagram? What are you working on lately? Can I see what you've done? Like if you mention something you've done in a class, they're like, oh, do you have any pictures? And it's so gratifying because you get to show off a little bit, but you also get to engage in this really great trade where you show the things that you're working on. People will compliment you and then show you the things that they're working on, and you inspire each other, just like everybody has been saying. And I think that includes not just students, but also faculty. In almost every class I've had, one of our first assignments is to build a kind of show and tell, something where we introduce ourselves and our artistic practice to the class, because professors want to meet you where you're at. They want to know your style and the things that you're interested in so that they can create a curriculum that's going to help you. They're not just giving you something they set 20 years ago and it's been working fine and nobody's complained and so they're going to keep doing it. They want to include things that you're interested in, whether that's printmaking or in an art history class. I've had professors specifically tell me, hey, we were talking about this thing, here's a specific artist, they're connected to something else you were telling me about, and it just feels really gratifying to know that people here, student and faculty, care about you as a person.
Okay. Our next question is, what has been the most influential classroom experience you've had, and why was it so influential?
Yeah, I'll go first. As a printmaking major, there's a bunch of different classes I've been taking at the 1515 building, but for sure the most influential class was politics and print, and it was for the reason that not only did it teach you, or it taught me, a bunch of different ways that I could create art, but it taught me how I could send a message and use my artwork to improve my community, other communities, in the world in general. What the class has you do is you'll use techniques in printmaking to focus on specific problems in local communities or really any political problem that you can think of, from deep ecology to gun control. You have to pick something and you have to make artwork about it, and you need to speak your mind. And I think that's such an important topic that should be discussed in the classroom experiences. How are you making art, but also how are you using this art to improve the lives around you and the lives across the world? And I feel like it just expanded my mind that not only is this art medium something that I can play around with, tinker with machines and create really cool pieces of art, but it's also something that I can use to change lives and send a message and just change laws, rules, and actually work towards helping people, communities, the earth. So I feel like whether you took politics of print or not, I feel like that's just something that should always be thought about, is these art techniques that I'm learning, how can I use it to better the lives around me, and how can I make a difference with this talent that I've been given? And I feel like politics of print was definitely one of those classes that just opened my mind to that idea.
It was actually an academic class from my last semester, that I found the most influential. It was Intro to Culture, Anthropology, and this teacher was Ruth Tolson. I thought it was very interesting because I like to engage in conversation. I just really find everything interesting to like learn about culture, or just honestly about anything. I like to learn about different things. I like to read, so we're giving like tasks to read like a couple chapters of a book and write a response based off of it. But then I really like when I'm in the class, because the professor actually like you could just tell the person really likes what they're doing, what they're teaching, so they're also really engaged in the conversation. And so you're just in the space where everybody's just talking about, you know, something from the prompt, from the assignment, and then everybody just has something to say or has something to add on. So I feel like, you know, I really like that because it's a space for everybody's voice and thoughts and opinions to be heard. And yeah, I really appreciate that academic class because it also helped me with ideas for my designs. So, you know, you just keep in mind that I feel like even academics can really help you and like help you view things differently.
So the most influential class for me is one I've actually taken 3 times so far. It's called Intro to Figure Sculpture, and so if you're not aware, MICA studio classes are pretty long. They take up 6 hours, and you have an hour lunch break. Some classes you don't use all that time. Some classes you use every minute. Intro to Figure Sculpture, you use every single minute of those 5 hours that you are in class. We have a live model every week, and we open up these tubs of clay. You scrape the clay out. It ends up being 50 to 80 pounds, and you sculpt a head study or a figurative study, so the whole body. You will do relief or an arm study, and you just work for 6 hours, and then you tear it down, and you take pictures, but there's no turning it in for a grade. You don't submit to Canvas or whatever, I don't know, high schools use. You don't have any midterms, you don't have any tests, you don't have homework. You show up, you create art, and then you tear it down, and then you show up again, and you do the same thing over and over. And there's a lot that I could say that has influenced me in my artistic practice in terms of politics and culture and historical context, but this class truly has affected not only my professional practice, but the way that I think about things, because you will make something amazing and it will end, and it's okay because you can come back and you can do it again. I've grown so much, I've learned so much about human anatomy, and just being able to look at a model and pick things out and what's important, and that's definitely influenced my artistic practice. But again, the physical practice of showing up every week just to create art has really, really been helpful in so many ways. So I encourage everybody to take this class or to do something where it's not for homework. You're just creating art that you can get rid of and say, oh, well, I just practiced, that was it. So yeah, that was definitely my favorite class, most influential.
So within my most influential, sorry. I think that it was my junior year. I think that it was a class called Astroanimation. So Astroanimation is a class where you collaborate with NASA scientists onto a research / study or a telescope that they might be working on. So I had the opportunity to work with the 10-year anniversary of a X-ray telescope called NuSTAR. And I got to work with a team, and I got to create an animation to be presented at NASA for bring your kids to work day. And I thought it was so interesting, and I thought like the idea of working with NASA is already like amazing enough, but I think that when the children got to see it, like there was a kid who saw our film and they were like, I want to go to Mars and I want to be an astronaut and I want to be like these characters. And I thought that was very influential in like, not to toot my own horn, but I was like, I'm influencing these children for their dream. But it was such a... And I think it's very influential when you get to see people react to your art in such a positive way. I think that you don't really think that like a drawing might not really change someone's life, but it could change a lot. And I think it empowers us to like move forward with the new generation and like make their dreams like try to be possible as much as we can. But yeah.
Okay. All right. We are at the end of the, no, we have one more. How would, last question for the pre-populated questions, then we'll get to the questions that you all submitted. There are a lot of questions here. That's a really, really good thing. I promise we will answer all of these questions, maybe not here, but we will get you all these answers. I'm gonna try to take some, because after this is lunch, and I know people like lunch. The last question that was pre-submitted was, how have you benefited from being involved outside of the classroom in any clubs or activities?
Hello? Okay, there we go. I kind of feel like I answered these questions in the other questions, but yeah, I benefit because I'm continuously learning about things that I probably don't even know about. And it's not only clubs or organizations, it's also like people who are like really taking their time to educate themselves about things, topics that I like that aren't really like, talked about. Like I have a roommate, they're also my like close friend, and they just like learn all these things and tell me all these things that you probably wouldn't even hear in textbooks, and I was just like, wow, how did you, like, where are you getting this information from? Can you tell me? I want to know. But it also connects to, the Black Student Union, Office of Culture and Identity. I was also in like this organization last semester, I think envisioning safety on our college campuses. They all connect. Even the class I took, the Intro to Culture Anthropology, I feel like all of that are really connected because I'm taking all this information and I'm learning and evolving as a human being. Now I'm learning about, people, emotions and their traumas, or I'm learning different cultural aspects that I wouldn't even know of. It makes me be more aware and open-minded. And I think that's also very important when I'm making products because it's not about like, okay, what's the cheapest material to manufacture? No, I'm thinking about, okay, so how can this product actually benefit the person, but how can this person actually like, feel like they're being seen, But yeah, I think it benefits me because I'm learning, and I think that also helps me because it also makes other people feel seen when I'm saying things that that they probably wouldn't expect me to know. Even like something simple as, what's your ethnicity? When I see someone talking to me, like a friend talking to me, and then she was surprised that I asked her that question. It was like, that's the most formal, nice, polite way to ask things like that when you know someone is definitely not from where you're from. And then after I asked her that question and she answered it, she was like, thank you for asking me that question and the way you asked it, because I really appreciate that. So yeah.
So I'm an RA, residential assistant, which means that I am kind of the student representation in the resident halls. Sorry, needed to reboot my brain for a second. So I'm kind of like the hall monitor, but it's been really great. I've loved this job so much. This is my second year, and as far as benefiting from it, like everyone is saying, yes, if you didn't know, residential assistants get free housing, which is also really wonderful. So that financial incentive allows me to be so much better of an artist because I don't have to be worrying about my living situation. I get to be a little bit more free in my art. But socially, I've benefited. Like everyone is saying, you will learn so much from your peers at MICA. And I have sophomores, juniors, and seniors who are all my residents. So I'm learning their experiences, I'm learning about the places they go for fun, and I'm learning about the things they do in their majors, in their classes, and where they're hanging out on campus. I'm learning all of the gossip and how things are going in their friendships. And I'm inspired by them. But I'm also so much more confident when talking to people, approaching new people. I feel like I'm much better at connecting. And by being a student employee, I also feel like I'm much better at connecting with faculty and people who I maybe would be afraid to speak to or feel like I shouldn't speak to. I know from just going to my staff meetings and having to write emails to people who are in departments above me, I know it's really not that scary, that people want to hear from you and want to hear how you're doing, and they want to solve your problems. So it's helped me professionally as well.
When I get asked this question, I am always like, what haven't I done at MICA? My intro, I didn't really introduce this, but I work in the student government at MICA. I've been working there for 3 years. Last year was our first year as unofficial government acknowledged by the Board of Trustees. Before that, I worked for the Constitution the Constitution for the Student Government at MICA. And I think that was one of my biggest awards, very influential and everything, because it was during Zoom. It was trying to create an advocacy for students here at MICA. Sorry. And I think that with all the positions I've done at MICA, in 2 orgs. I work as the director for program managing. I do the big Halloween party / the big summer party here at MICA. I do a lot of things because I really do enjoy this community. I think that MICA has, it feels small when you first start, but it's actually such a big community of so many artists and advocators who just want to, sorry, I don't know why. And I think that when it came down to doing student government work, I really wanted to advocate for students and try to also get students to know that, hey, you can do these things as students. You might not feel like you have power, or you might not, you might feel like you can't speak on this, but you do have that power and you do have that courageousness to go up there and stand up for what you believe. And then also sit down and listen and to stop and listen when you need to. And I think that is very important when it comes to student life. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of what Sophia was talking about, working as part of different student organizations, I've realized that our main goal is that you guys have fun. And it's also fun coming up with the things that you guys have fun with, because we'll think, okay, not enough people went to this event, let's think of how to make a better one, or something will be more popular, some game, some media, or some topic, and we will make sure that we can bring that to MICA. Working with the fitness center, every semester we have to come up with 6 events that involve some form of wellness, whether it be mental, physical, or interpersonal. And it's fun sort of coming up with, okay, how can we get people involved in ways of bettering themselves, but also have fun while doing it? And you'll notice that, actually, you know what? Best piece of advice, find out when the involvement fair is. That, you'll see every organization that we have all tabling at the same event. Write your name on like every single piece of paper that has an emailing list, because even if it's just like spam at some point, I guarantee that you will probably love at least one of the clubs here, and you'll find a community of people that are into the same stuff as you. And it could be as big as camping, it could be as little as you all like this TV show, and we made a club that's all based off of this TV show. Like, people like, yeah, exactly. Like, people like the same things you do, and you'll find that a lot of people can get involved in a community, and you can come together and just geek over something together and sort of enhance your love of it together. I'm also involved in the Outdoors Club, and like I said, we love camping. And recently we went on a backpacking trip. We got some funding for our club. We took like 20 people to Dolly Sods in West Virginia, and we like climbed the side of a mountain. It was so fun, freezing cold, but like some people are into that. Some people are like, you know what? I have spent too much time at MICA. I need to like get outside a little bit. I gotta be in the wilderness and like not have cell on my phone. And you know, that, I mean, I'm into that, but you know, there's tons of opportunities for you to get out there, experience the surrounding community of MICA, Baltimore, and just hang out with people on campus that are just totally into the same things that you are.
Okay. All right. So, first of our questions that were received, I like this one. How does MICA support students with different learning styles, aside from small classes? Are there good support services? Because leaving home can be scary.
I can answer that one real quick. So my home is 4 hours on plane. So it is very scary to leave home. And I think when it comes to the first day, it's like I remember crying a lot, like saying goodbye to my parents and being like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss the tropical, like I'm in the city, I hate this. I remember thinking that in my first day, like I remember not sleeping because of the noise of the city, and I remember just thinking like I'm so alone and I feel so scared right now. And I think that on the second day when my roommates made me breakfast, which I was like, that's crazy. We just met. I think it was just like I should have realized by that point that like this is a community that wants to be there and support you. And I think that I realized that on that day that when people were geeking out about things that I like, about that one specific thing, I don't know, that like I really enjoy, and I thought I was the only one that even knew about it. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I think that like leaving home is scary, but it's one of the first steps that you take as moving forward with your future and creating what you want to do in your own path. And I think letting go of that is scary, but it also could be an exciting but unfamiliar trip. There's a lot of questions. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, so I totally agree. I'm also from very far away. I'm from Texas, and I have a lot of stuff, so we drove up here. It's 3 days, which is so great. 3 days of my parents doing this in the passenger seat while I'm driving at the speed limit. And so, yes, it's very scary to be so far from home. But just like Sophia was saying, people want you to be here, and so they will find ways to welcome you. And Baltimore is a great city, so you feel at home here eventually. I wanted to talk about supporting different learning styles because I feel like that's something that MICA does well. We recently just had a restructuring of our accessibility department, and I've personally had great experiences with them. I know people are having really great experiences with them. The most important thing is you have to communicate your needs. If you tell someone, they will listen. But you can't just assume that you'll do something a different way and it'll be fine. Your professors will work with you. They will give you an extension every once in a while. They will work with you on adapting a project or making it something that's more interesting to you or something you're able to complete. Our accessibility department will work with you on getting extensions or talking to your professors for you or talking to the dining hall. I have really serious food allergies, and so that was something that I had to be in communication with. But if you talk to people, they will listen and they will help you out. It can even be your peers. Like, they can give you suggestions on how to make a project more accessible. The Wellness Center offers great education on physical accessibility when creating art. So there really are resources here to help you if you feel like you do something in a way that's different than the norm.
All right. Love this question too. How did you find your roommate?
I live off campus. And so, fun fact, I had really great roommates, and one of them still lives with me ever since freshman year. Remember the person that made breakfast? I still live with them. And I still live with her, and I think that one of the things that was very amazing about living with such amazing people is, you do your own thing. You write what you like. I prefer cold living, sleeping almost hypothermia style, and I think my roommate doesn't really like that. And I think learning their needs and also them learning your needs and having a good balance between both of y'all, and learning about. Just in general, how to live with someone, because I think you're so used, you live maybe 18, 9, 10, how many years you live with your parents, and then you get to learn with this random person that you just met, and it's it takes time to you to learn with them, and sometimes roommates don't work. I had 2 roommates who did not end up moving because they all had different paths in their lives, and that's okay. Having other roommates, it's totally fine. It's part of the college life. And I think that when you find that roommate, you will know that you are set for life. And I'm moving on, even if I'm graduating with her again.
On this, I would say if you want to find roommates or make friends, go to as many events as possible. There's usually something going on every week, multiple things going on. And the way I met my roommates, specifically one of them, was going to a coffee house, which is this fun event we have where I think it's the 3rd Sunday of every month, we have a bunch of people come into a stage area and everyone just gets to perform. People play guitar, some people read poetry, comedy, yeah. And I met both of my roommates there because one of them performed a jaw harp, and I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but it is a weird instrument. And I was like, dude, this is the guy I want to be friends with for the rest of my time at MICA. And I'm happy to say that he's been my roommate since freshman year. And that's just how you make friends, and then you're like, you know what? Do you want to live with me? And they're like, yeah, dude. So I would just say get out there, go to clubs, go to events, walk around campus every once in a while and just wave at some stranger, because I guarantee that's the easiest way to make your newest friend at MICA, because everyone's so welcoming. If someone waves at me, I'm definitely gonna hey, what's up? Talk to me. Yeah, hi. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a hit or miss. Some people have roommate horror stories, or some people just, aren't compatible, or you guys just, go separate ways, or sometimes you guys end up being roommates until the end of it. So you know, you guys just gonna have to you're just gonna have to find out, to be honest. But for the most part, I mean, my freshman year, I do not have the same roommates. I don't think we were compatible, but they were good. The roommates I have now, it was just so random. Like, I met one of them, and where did I meet them? I don't know, somewhere on campus. I think it was Glace, you know. And then we were just talking, and they mentioned that they were trying to find, them and their friend were trying to find a roommate. I'm like, I'm trying to find roommates too. And, you know, I just took the chance. I mean, I just met them. But, you know, I'm just like, well, you know what? Shoot, I'll just figure it out. And then, and yeah, I mean, we've been, you know, roommates this entire year. And I think we all, like, work well with each other. We all became, like, really close friends. And when something happens, I am not afraid to come and communicate, because one thing about me, I cannot read your mind. So if you do not tell me what's going on, then I'm not gonna say nothing. Like, and so, yeah, like, I just think sometimes it's all about communication and figuring out, like, you know, like what you were saying, you know, we could be two different people, but if we could find a way to meet in the middle, you know, it's possible. And yeah.
Okay. The next question is about our first year experience. So the question is, during the first year experience, are all the classes random, or can you choose a focus of a variety of courses? This particular person wants to study comic art and interested in drawing as well.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. During the first year experience, are all the classes random, or can you choose from a variety of different fields?
It's not random. Freshman year, like your first year experience, you actually have to take these required courses. So you don't necessarily have the freedom to just go in and just like pick all the classes that you want. I mean, you could like possibly take 1 or 2 electives that's like outside of like the required courses that you're supposed to take. But I mean, it's not a bad thing, because for the most part, the classes that you take are still interdisciplinary. Like, I think one is like, it's like you do like woodworking or sometimes sculpture or paperwork.
Like
prototyping.
Yeah.
One is like more on like the graphic design route. And one is just, I still don't even know how to explain for him. Like, you just do anything, right? Yeah, so you just, those are some of the required classes that you're supposed to take. But it kind of helps you in a way, because like you guys all do something different that's related to like the majors that we have here. So by like towards the end, or like towards like the end or middle of your freshman year, you have this opportunity where you go on the tour and you like go to the buildings of all the different majors, and you know, you learn from, you know, you get an aspect of what they do, and then you know, you decide what you want to really focus on for the next 3 years.
Yeah. I can make a really quick comment about like the first year experience. So I was a freshman 4 years ago, fun fact. Crazy, right? And one of the things that I believe has happened is that freshman year experience does change depending on the year. Sometimes classes, I remember that we had cartographies and we had all these things but I believe that they did change them to do other classes, and I think that's one of the things that is really good about freshman year experience. Not all the time it's the same thing. You might be taking maybe similar classes with some people, but you are in completely different classes, assignments. Depending on your professor, you might be working very differently. That's why I think the magic of freshman experience is you're working different projects, you're trying out new things, and you do get one elective which you get to choose to either experiment with it, or you get to continue on if you know your path. I decided to continue my path of animation, to take an intro to animation on my freshman year. But you don't have to. You can take it in a sophomore year if you wanted to continue your major. Because in your freshman year, you haven't chosen your major yet. And I think it's a good like spot to be in making sure that, hey, this is what you want. And but also some people, like Justin here, was an animation major when he started. But he ended up being a printmaking major because he found his love with it. And I think that's one of the beauties of freshman year experience is you get to find, I'm sorry for talking about it. And I think it's one of the beauties of freshman year experience is that you get to experiment with things that you might not have had access to in high school. I went to a private Catholic school and I had no access to a wood shop. So I truly enjoy that, like that experimenting of your freshman year.
Okay, I feel like this question was submitted by one of my parents in the audience here, talking about career development. How do you feel? How supported do you feel? And how much help do you or have you received navigating your career path?
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten plenty of help from career development, if not like too much help. Like, I'm too set right now. I mean, it really started, I think, sophomore year when I was told by one of my advisors, hey, I think you should go to career development just to say hi. Like, even if you don't gain anything from it, just talk to them and see what they can do about internships, because you should start looking for those around when I was there. All these different things that they're like, all right, you've had your fun so far, now it's time to start thinking about the future. And I went there, and it was one of the most fun experiences. I met this super awesome person in career development. Her name was V, and she just like plopped down the computer and she's like, all right, cool, so what major are you? And I told her printmaking, and she was like, all right, we're gonna look through all the different internship, job, learning opportunities that you can have over the summer, the winter, during the school year. Our career development department is like so good. I cannot say enough how awesome it is to just walk in there anytime, schedule a meeting, and talk with a plethora of people that just want you to succeed and find different ways of helping you reach that path. Yeah, and we also have creative entrepreneurship now, which is just another branch of trying to help you succeed through your art. And that branch is adding new classes to the curriculum and having all these different events to help people that have, you know, small startup companies grow them into something that they can build off of when they graduate, or even past then. We have alumni come in and show fashion brands and companies and these small businesses that started with 2 people that are now like functioning, like there's a lot of people involved. But yeah, I mean, if you want to succeed and you want to go far, career development will help you with that in any way, shape, or form. So when you see career development office in Gateway, make sure you stop by just to say hi anytime you want to talk about internships, jobs, or really just like talk about where you want to go in the future.
Yes, so our career development department is amazing. I live like on the floor above their office, so I see them all the time. I also want to say we also, in most majors, have a professional development class built in. It's not always required. I think in illustration it is. I might be wrong about that. But in animation, I know from experience, we have a professional development for animators class. It was so helpful. I know a lot of majors have classes like that. They'll go through your resume, they'll go through business cards, they'll go through how to conduct interviews and how to look for jobs. So if visiting an office seems scary or you're not quite sure if you're ready for that yet, you can take a class and feel a little bit safer with your peers and with a teacher who knows your industry, who's been through many of the same things you're going through, and who very often has connections to people who are offering internships, to people who started their own businesses or studios and are looking for students. I'm in a class now where frequently in our group chat, they'll send, it's a game design class, so they'll send, hey, these developers are looking for a summer internship. Hey, these people are looking for a social media manager. Hey, is anybody willing to do some artwork for this small studio that's a friend of mine made? So it's also really, in a lot of cases, built into the classes you're taking.
But I was gonna say I'm jumping off of what you guys are saying, to don't be scared, because like I said, everybody is really friendly here. I mean, I'm not saying we're like Mickey Mouse or whatever, but Like, for the most part, I understand the anxiety aspects of it and whatnot, but like if you just go and talk to the person, they are going to give you the space and the opportunity to talk about whatever you need to talk about. And yeah, the career development, they have a lot of resources. I don't know where they're getting the resources from, but sometimes I'll be forgetting this is one of the top schools because because I'm just like, whoa, this is a great opportunity. I need to hop on it. And even if you don't like necessarily sign up for certain things, like they're going to constantly email you internship opportunities to get grants or scholarships, from under career development. And if you have any questions about that, you can always email them, or I'm more of an in-person person. So instead of emailing, because sometimes I could take a few days for them to respond, I'd rather just go in the office and ask myself. And everything is just really close by through MICA too. So just like a few minutes away, you just walk there, see what are their office hours. You go there and you ask them a question, or you schedule a meeting, through email. And yeah, I'm over here talking to the associate dean yesterday. I forgot she was the associate dean. I'm like, hey girl, and I'm just talking to her, and don't be afraid. Just speak, conversate.
Okay. I just want to highlight the fact that our career development office is located in one of our residence halls is so significant. I remember when I joined MICA, I walked into the residence hall and was like, that's awesome. These students have to walk past it every single day. It's not like buried in a basement somewhere where you have to find it. Because I remember being in college, every year, like, I'm gonna go in there during my second semester freshman year. I'm gonna go in there third semester, during my first semester junior year. But when you walk past it every day, it's a constant reminder to take advantage of those opportunities. So it's a really special thing here at MICA. Okay, we have exhausted a lot of the questions. You all have been awesome. I want to give it up for my student panel here. I just want to recognize how much it takes to get in front of hundreds of people and answer random questions on the fly and be amazing at it. So these are wonderful human beings. It is amazing to see their development and their growth. So yes. Okay. All right, I am going to turn it back over to Matthew Smith to give you all kind of a rundown of the day. I will be around. Please ask questions. This is so great. And if you can indulge me, this is the first larger open house. We are so excited to have this many people back on campus. And for my admitted students, if I could, I just want to acknowledge how awesome you all are. Your class started pre-COVID, got hit by COVID, went remote in some scenarios, went back physically on site, and still found a way to succeed. So I want to take a moment and acknowledge how amazing that is. It is, if you think about what you all accomplished, it has never been done before and will probably never be done again, right? So you all should be proud of what you all have accomplished. And for my parents in the room, you all made it. You made it through. I had 2 kids at homeschooling during that time. You all made it. So congratulations to you too. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Yes.
I do want to say one more thing, if you don't mind.
Yes.
It's just real quick. I was going to say you guys are awesome too, and I hope you guys have a great day. And thanks for listening to us, and I hope that our questions really helped you guys out.
Yes. Thank you. There we go.
Thanks, guys. Okay. Okay, so you guys have been sitting here a while. Hope you were entertained. And now it's time to entertain yourselves a little bit with MICA, of course. Thank you, guys. So for now, from 11:30 to 12:30, y'all got that meal ticket, right? So go have a bite. We have food trucks on the main Cohen Plaza. We have Cafe Doris in the Fox building, which is right beside Brown Center. It sort of connects. And then, of course, our main dining hall in the Meyerhoff House. Please head over that way. We'll be outside to guide you guys, so think about going to the Meyerhoff to really get that student experience as well. And then starting from 12:30 to 3:30, the campus is yours. You're going to see me and everyone else around inviting you into spaces. We have printouts at every department. Go see the exhibitions. Go to the departments. Ask questions. have fun, okay? Also, we have in the main building, you got this information, all these student resource fairs. We have Office of Accessibility and Disability, Student Counseling, International Education, Career Development, Financial Aid, Res Life, Writing Studio, Fitness Center, Student Advising, Student Engagement. Go talk to those guys as well, okay? Thank you so much. You can head out on either side, and we'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, but it's only going to do like one.